Good morning, people. We have today a new topic, and this topic is about three conversations and a video about vocabulary, talking about an automated teller machine. My name is William Guandique, and I'm here at Liceo Flavio Josefo. So today's topics are bad news, living in awareness, and report news. They are conversation practice. And let's start this time this class to 12th grade students. We have here the first conversation, and in the first conversation we have it is about bad news. I don't know if that happened to you, when we are talking to someone and we give bad news to people. So this conversation is a demonstration, is an example about how to give bad news. And you know, bad news is also part of the plan, is part of the life. And we need to give, and we need to say bad news sooner or later, in one time or in another one. So this is a model in which we have how to give bad news to people. Conversation practice. Listen and repeat a conversation. We have this conversation between a speaker A and a speaker B. Speaker A, it says, "Oh God, take a look of this." Sure, what's going on? There is an enormous flood in Nicaragua. Look at these people on the roof. The water is up to the second floor. That's awful. And look at these cars. I hope there was nobody in them. Everything sounds horrendous. Anywhere on casualties? Anywhere on casualties? It says no report of death or injuries so far. And can you imagine the property damage? They say that 50% of houses are underwater. What a disaster. Let's see Twitter for breaking news about this. Good idea. Now, in this conversation, they are talking about an enormous flood in Nicaragua, right? Is an enormous flood in Nicaragua. So that is what we have in here. Enormous flood in Nicaragua. We can say that a flood is when the places on the streets or in neighborhoods or in different or in small towns, there is a lot of water. So that's why in here in the conversation it says, let's imagine this. Look at these people. Look at these people on the roof. The water is up to the second floor. So it's almost getting the second floor of the houses, the water. So that's what we call the flood. Now, we have another one, another word in here that we need to pay attention, and is casualties. Casualties, we can say it about death. We're talking about death, or we're talking about injuries, people injured or death. Now, now this conversation talks about that the 50% of houses are underwater. That's the flood, and it's a disaster. So when we're talking about a disaster, we are talking about a bad news. So this is the conversation. When you have time, you can practice by yourself, or you can practice with another student this conversation. And the idea is to develop the speaking skill. Now, let's move to the next slide. And in the next slide, we have The next slide we have this. And it says, in here, anotar text. Complete each statement with words or phrases from the conversation, the previous conversation. Now we have two words that means very big. Two words that mean very big. One is huge, and the other one is enormous, right? So that's one. Indicate the amount of people who are injured or killed in an event, and the people who are killed in an event is not, I mean, no death, or injuries. So we don't find, according to the conversation, we don't find death and we don't find injuries. Means the destruction of harm to building cars in an event. So in this case, what happened there is the flood. Now, it will not be called to argue with them. So it's not going to be argued with them. And we have that the people um, affected. Let's say the people affected. Now, in here, expression used to describe the first news about an event, and in this case is breaking news. Now that is what we have in here, and the answers can vary in here depending the way that you are watching and understanding this conversation. So that is what we have. Now, we are going to erase all drawings and stop here writing, and let's go to the next slide. Right, and in the next slide we have another conversation. This is a small conversation, but the topic for this is living an awareness message. Living an awareness message. So awareness is when you are making conscious, or you're warning someone about any kind of dangers. According to this conversation, we have speaker A and B, and it says something like this. I'm on the phone with your parents. Don't you want to say hello? I would, but I'm late. Anything you'd like me to tell them? Please tell them to turn on the TV. There is a snowstorm on the way. I'll do, I'm sorry. Now, what we have in here is that they are talking about the snowstorm. So this is the danger. It's coming according to this conversation. The snowstorm is a big storm of snows on the way. So is a warning people about this, right? And to the parents in this case. Now, there is something, an instruction that I would like to make emphasis in here, and it's Jude like is this contraction D, and like is talking about the expression would like, is something that we desire for the future. So let's read it again, this conversation. I'm on the phone with your parents. Don't you want to say hello? I would, but I'm late. Anything you'd like me to tell them? Please tell them to turn on the TV. There is a snowstorm on the way. I'll do. So that is what we have in this conversation. Is what we have in this conversation. Let's continue on this. That's the second That is the second conversation. We'll continue with the next one. Okay, I will try to see. Mm, I'll try to in here. Okay, and this is page. Now let's go to the next slide. And the third conversation is report news. Conversation practice. Speaker A and speaker B. This is when we are saying to someone a version or a phrase or a sentence or a saying or something that someone says. And when we are talking about this, we're talking about indirect speech. Is a structure in which we are talking about someone's opinion. And speaker A and speaker B. Speaker A, it says, what's in the news today? Remember that news in this part is talking about the news. These are news. They are news. We are not talking about the age of something. We're talking about this, the news. Every time that you find a letter S in news, we are talking about this. Now, what's in the news today? Well, the paper says there was a terrible tornado in the center. Are you serious? Yes, it says a lot of houses and farms were destroyed. What a shame. However, nobody has died. Thank God for that. Now we can see that in the conversation, if we analyze this, it says what's in the news today, in the news today. So in here, what's in here today? And it says, well, the newspaper says, and this is the structure. The newspaper says, so we're talking the newspaper, this says that there was a terrible tornado in the center. But in the news, maybe it says there is a tornado in the center, but because we are reporting a news, so we says there was. The present tense, we change it to the simple past. Simple present changes to the simple past when we are reporting news. So, well, the newspaper says there was a terrible tornado in the center. Are you serious? Yes, it says a lot of houses and farms were. So you can see that we are talking in simple past, but but in the news, in the newspaper, it says that there are houses and farms destroyed, right? So we change it when we're talking about someone else's opinion. We switch from simple past, from simple present to simple past. Now, and then it says, what a shame. However, nobody has died. Thank God for that. And we can see this conversation about the reporting news and an example. So we had the three conversation. A conversation how to say bad news. The only one when we are living an awareness message, and the third one is report news. So three kind of questions that they are very useful in our daily conversation. Now I will ask you to practice with someone speaking. Remember, the more that you practice, the more that you learn. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. And in the next slide, we will be talking. This is about make groups and practice the conversation. Remember that we did these groups and we practiced this speaking drill. But right now we're going to this. I told you that we will be talking, I will show you a video about an automated teller machine. And the purpose for this is that you can learn, you take notes and learn about the ATM, about an ATM. That ATM is a common name for the machines that we use to get money using a debit card or a credit card machine from different banks. But I will click in here, and in order for you to take note and learn, right? Now pay attention on this. I click on the link, and we have this.
In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to use the ATM. Okay, now the letters ATM stand for Automated Teller Machine. A teller is a person who works at a bank who gives you money or takes your money. Okay, the word automated means it's done by a machine. So actually, there's no person here. It's a machine that's giving us money or taking our money. Okay, so this thing here is called a keypad. So you're going to enter your PIN on the keypad, and when you're ready, you press enter. If you make a mistake, then you press clear. Okay, and this thing here is called a bank card or a debit card. Okay, see here it says debit card. Now the first step is we need to insert the card into the ATM. All right, then after it's inserted, then we need to type in our PIN number. Now PIN means personal identification number. Okay, so we enter our PIN and we press enter. Then we're going to see a screen that looks like this. Look at all these options here. So here we have cash withdrawal. Withdrawal means you're taking money out of the bank. And here we have deposit. Deposit means you're putting money into your bank account. And here it says set my favorite withdrawal. Okay, so let's say you go to the bank every week and you take out the same amount. You go every Friday and you take out $100. Okay, so then you can just set your favorite withdrawal, and then it saves you a little bit of time. So every Friday when you go to the bank, you just press this button and it'll give you your $100. Okay, so over here we have account activity, balances, and updates. So let's say you want to know how much money you have in your bank account. Then you would click on here and it'll give you your balance. So here's the balance of our checking account. Okay, and here it says how much is available for withdrawal. Okay, so it says please make a selection here. We can print the balance, or we can return the card and you can leave, or you can make another transaction. So let's say we want to make another transaction. So we press here, and then let's say we want to withdraw some money. Okay, so we push cash withdrawal, and then it's going to ask us which account do we want to withdraw from? Checking, savings, or credit card. Okay, we probably want to withdraw money from our checking account. So we're going to press from checking, and then we're going to see this screen. So how much money do we want to withdraw? Well, here are some quick options for us, but let's say we want to withdraw $400. Okay, so then we enter 400 here and press enter. Okay, then it's going to say your transaction is complete. Would you like to perform another transaction? And you can choose yes or no. Let's say we're finished. So we press no. Then it's going to say, would you like a receipt? Then you can choose yes or no. And then it's going to say, thank you. Please remove your cash. And then you take your cash and you take your card. Don't forget your card. Sometimes people forget their card in the machine. So you take your cash, you take your card, and then you leave. Okay? So let's say we want to deposit some money. Okay, then we press deposit, and then it's going to ask which account we want to deposit the money into. Checking, savings, or credit card. Let's say we want to deposit our money into savings. Okay, so we press savings, and then it's going to say insert all checks and cash into an envelope. Okay, so this is called an envelope. So we put our money into the envelope, and then when we're ready to deposit the envelope, we press OK. So then we press OK, and then we put our money into the ATM. Okay, actually in Canada, the new ATMs don't use envelopes. So you can just put your cash or your checks straight into the ATM. It's much easier. Okay, then it's going to say your deposit is complete. Please make a selection. So we can withdraw some cash now, or we can do another transaction, or we can say no more transactions. So let's say no more transactions, we're finished. Okay, then it's going to say, thank you. Please remove your card. Then you take your card and you leave. You're done. Hey, if you want more English lessons like this, or you want to get some culture tips, or you want to ask me any questions, then make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.
Okay, we had that. I decided to present this YouTube video because it's quite interesting, and it has easy instructions and is attractive when you are watching. I mean, attractive, the vocabulary attractive in this video. It's very easy to learn vocabulary, and it's something that you need to learn in your daily life, because you will use sooner or later, you will use an ATM, right? So is this ATM is how to use your saving account, checking account, credit card, deposit, or withdrawals. Also, you can make different transactions, such as PIN number change. You can pay different services in electricity, water, telephone, and different transactions. Also, the school, in some cases, the school monthly payment, and we have that. So it's quite easy vocabulary, and visually it's very nice because it's showing, let's say, the screen of this ATM, right? So I hope that you had taken note and learn this vocabulary. Now, I want to say that that your teacher, remember that I or any other classmate can help you if you need help. If can help you if you need it. Now, I can give you more explanation, more example, more exercises if you need them. The only thing that you have to do is to raise the hand and ask me. Okay, that's all for today, people. I'm here in Liceo Flavio Josefo, and I want to say that thanks for watching this video. Uh, Remember to stay home. If you stay home, you stay safe and you save your life. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching.